right, man. I wanted to make sure I got in alive before the draft. Kind of was thinking about doing some Piston content, but I was like, oh, it's draft week. You know what I'm saying? So maybe a Piston live or two next week. Obviously, it'll be multiple lives this week. If I could squeeze one in again tomorrow before the draft, I'll squeeze it. Talk about some of this draft buzz going around the league, especially obviously, primarily in Detroit. We got a lot of things that's going on that can easily implement, or excuse me, easily impact the Detroit Lions very, 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 very much. The latest rumors: Will Levis could go number one. Now it could just be a rumor that started on Reddit, but coincidentally, uh, man, the Carolina Panthers head coach Frank Weiss came out and said that they had come to a decision on the quarterback. All right. So, most people still think it's going to be Bryce Young or whatever. If I was a betting man, that's who I would bet my money it was on. Uh, but uh, but if Will Levis, is the pick, I think Indianapolis would be upset. It was a rumor that Indianapolis really wanted Will Levis, and they was hoping that somebody would jump in front of them to take C.J. Stroud. So I don't understand if it's somebody that you want, you want. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you should let anybody, dictate. That just let me know if Indianapolis is nervous that about taking Levis over Stroud. What are you worried about? Fan backlash. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button, by the way. I mean, take who you take. You know what I'm saying? And if you got second thoughts and like, oh, I hope somebody takes CJ Stroud so we could justify Will Levis, I think maybe you should be taking Will Levis. You should be taking CJ Stroud. I think maybe you should be taking CJ Stroud. So, it's live season, it's cap season. I mean, it's the whole nine. Shout out to Mike. Levis, Will Anderson will not drop to 6. That is not going in any scenario. That will not happen. In any scenario, that will not happen. He will not drop to 6. You have to go up to get him. I think then becomes the thing about it is this, man. Somebody's gonna move up to get him. And you look at Seattle, they will take a haul. It's a luxury pick, just like our pick is a luxury pick. Seattle, somebody will call Seattle to jump Detroit because they know if he fall to Detroit, that's where he's going. So somebody gonna call Seattle. I wouldn't be surprised if Philly put a package together. Somebody's going, and I'm gonna talk about the Lions trading with Kansas City too, and Tennessee a little bit more. Okay, somebody's gonna jump up to get Will Anderson. It's just what it is. I'm not sure Seattle gonna take a quarterback. Seattle got defensive needs, the whole nine. Somebody gonna jump up and take Anderson. It's just what it is. Houston is where he posed to land at, but then the thing become they love Bryce Young too. So they love Bryce Young as well too at number 2. So it's really gonna be Bryce Young or Will Anderson there. All right. Then you get to Arizona, is the hot spot to trade at this point. Okay. Teams like Tennessee, teams like New England. Don't sleep on Pittsburgh. I'm not saying I heard anything. Don't sleep. Tampa Bay, maybe packaging some people. So don't sleep on some of them teams trying to move up to get to 3 to get a quarterback, right? Seattle, I just think they could be in position to get a quarterback. But if I'm a betting man with Seattle, if Will Anderson is there, they're gonna take him. Quarterback wise, they could, and they could take Stroud. But if I'm a betting man, I think Seattle is probably gonna take a defensive player here, right? So at number 6, I just don't see Anderson falling that far. I just don't. I think Chicago may want to jump back up and try to get Will Anderson at number 3. So I don't really see Anderson. I don't see a slide happening for Anderson. I just don't. Uh, I really think he really gonna go to Houston. They'll have a pick. But I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get to talk about Houston. We need to hope that Houston either takes a quarterback or Tyree Will. They're going to take Will Anderson. It's going to be between Will Anderson and Bryce Young. It's just that simple. That's who they're going to take. It's going. And Seattle's not taking Jalen Carter. I mean, I can't say they not because I okay. I'm gonna talk about Jalen Carter later, but I really think that Seattle's probably gonna go with Tyree Wilson, a quarterback, or Will Anderson if he there. I'm not sure quarterback. I think they're gonna continue to build on that defense. Do they have another pick in this drive? Or I would swear they had. I guess yeah. I would just say this. I would say this. I think it's gonna be a defensive player right there. It could be a quarterback. I think it's gonna be a defensive player, and I think it's gonna be is probably. I'm not sure about Carter, Wilson, and Anderson right there. I think Brad Holmes wants to justify the jump up to 3 to get Will Anderson. Now, I'm going to talk about Levis just a little bit more. Now, John Bradshaw, what's going on, bro? I see you. So the thing about this is this. If Levis go number 1, right? All right. And let's just say, Houston really like Will Anderson, right? All right. Then it gets really, really interesting in the draft if Levis really go number 1 and Houston said we're gonna take Will Anderson and pass over Bryce Young. Then it becomes interesting. The reason it becomes interesting because okay, Indianapolis, do you try to move up one spot to Arizona? Okay, because the guy you want is gone. Are you okay with CJ Stroud? In my mind, they really know CJ Stroud is better, right? Then if you Seattle, do you say, well, we got Bryce really high on our list. Let's jump up a couple spaces to Arizona and let's make it happen. Right? Then if you Detroit, where do you rank Bryce Young? Now, the interesting thing about the Lions and Bryce Young is, you can tell everybody in the city of Detroit, okay, we're going to take our time with Bryce Young. But as soon as, if Jared Goff got 2 straight years in Detroit and getting off to a slow start, you know what I'm saying? And this is what I would do, right? Call me crazy. If I did take Bryce Young, which I would endorse them moving up 3 spots to take Bryce Young at 3, right? I would endorse that. But what I might do, if he beats out Jared Goff, he got the job, right? The team is young, he young, and you already sent the message to the Lions that we believe we can win with Jared Goff as constructed. We not really gonna go for it with Lamar Jackson. We not gonna go for it and try to get Aaron Rodgers. We not really gonna force the envelope. We still gonna build. We gonna move, but we gonna move cautiously. But we just gonna continue to build this thing the right way. That's 100% fine. Bryce Young. The good thing about Bryce Young is that he can grow with the team, right? He can take his lumps because historically, what it tells you is the Lions are going to have to go through bumpy road. Let's say they win a division, they make the playoffs, they get a win, they lose in the second round, right? Then next year, they do it all again. They make it to the NFC Championship game. They come up a little bit short, right? So the team is, kind of going through their growing pains. You know what I'm saying? And you might need a little bit of this and that to get them over the hump. You know what I'm saying? So Bryce Young can actually grow with this team. Even though the expectations are high where they can win now and it's a window. But I think what they're telling us is Brad Holmes is going to build this thing correctly and not try to skip any steps. And that's fine. Bryce can grow with the team. And if they don't reach expectations, it can be an excuse. Well, Bryce got the lumps out the way. Blase, blah, boom. You know what I'm saying? Now, one thing you could consider is starting him on IR. Say he got a little injury or whatever. Let Nate Sudfeld bag him up. Say he working through an injury. You know what I'm saying? We see him on 6-7 weeks, whatever it is. Then we implement them into the roster and we'll let them study and, just to kind of take the pressure off of the fans calling for Bryce Young, about Jared Goff. Jared Goff 1-5. Well, Bryce Young ain't ready yet. We activate him to the roster after 6 weeks. We gonna get him healthy. Just lie about his health. Bill Belichick do this shit all the time, right? And then, if the team ain't going the way it is, about week 10, 11, you eliminate it, or you like, we ain't gonna make the playoffs. Let's kind of go for draft. Then you throw him in, let him get a couple games under his belt. And I think a year off for him is pretty good because he can build his physical strength. And everybody want to play right away, but I think a lot of these quarterbacks will benefit from sitting. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence would have benefited from sitting because of the situation with Urban Myers. Mac Jones had some great success. His situation is isolated because Bill Belichick was an idiot by having the guys he had as offensive coordinator, right? So I think I would do it. I think he's a transcendent talent, great thrower of the football. Eventually, I would like to see him work on his physical strength a little bit more, get a little bit more stronger in the lower body for a year, give Goff a spin, see what Goff can do. Now you can say, guess what, CJ, what if somebody quarterback go down? Bryce look good. You want to roll Bryce as the number one. I got a couple issues with that because, one, with Bryce being the starting quarterback and you moving Jared Goff, I believe you need a more respectable quarterback behind Bryce Young than Nate Sudfeld, right? And obviously we know why Nate Sudfeld got cut because Brock Purdy's the shit. So I would need to go get a more respectable quarterback behind him if that's trading for Jameis. If somebody get cut. So you could move Jared Goff. History tell us some quarterback gonna get injured or something gonna happen. You can move Goff for a great top price. So that could happen. But I just think I would want him training with Mark Brunell, Ben Johnson for a year, working with the strength and conditioning coach, building up his lower body, building up his core, getting a little bit heavier up top, learning the year, then plugging him in. And I think obviously he's more polished than Patrick Mahomes was with Texas Tech. I just like to see the common quarterbacks get that gap year learning. Now, in another scenario, right? Let's say Will Levis does go number one, right? And Bryce Young goes number two. Okay. I think number three becomes a hot spot, right? For I think a team for a quarterback, and I think a team trying to get Will Anderson. Chicago has the most firepower to get back in there. I think they like being at 9. Obviously, I think they like being there. They want to build the trenches. Okay. So they might just consider be like, okay, we're just gonna build the trenches, right? Jump up to Arizona. I don't mind it for Will Anderson. Now, I think the reason Will Anderson has a sizable lead over Tyree Wilson is because Tyree Wilson has the foot ailment. That's what they call it, a foot ailment. It's not a Liz Frank. It's not a broken foot. It's just something that was nagging him. I think if he was able to perform in the combine and run, and at some point he was supposed to actually have private workouts and run and stuff, but the laceration in his foot hadn't healed, so he couldn't sweat on the foot. So I think if Tyree Wilson was able to work out, I think the gap would be much closer between Tyree Wilson and Will Anderson. But the issue still would be if Arizona took one of them or somebody jumped up and took one of them, Jalen Carter messing up hurts the scenario, right, for Seattle. Because Seattle, Detroit want to jump Seattle to get, one of them, they would still have to jump Seattle because whoever moved to 3 probably moved for Will Anderson, right? So then Seattle's still ahead of you to get Tyree Wilson. That's probably more than likely who they're going with. So you still want to jump up there and get one of them. And it kind of messed up that Seattle and the Denver pick is kind of ahead of us. So, and then another scenario real quick, you can say, well, it's goes expected. Bryce go number 1, Will Anderson go number 2. Then at number 3, do you move up? And at that point, it all depends. Who you moving up for? History tell us Stroud is gonna fall to you. That's what the kind of the rumor saying. It's last season. Tyree Wilson, will he fall to you? Where do you have Jalen Carter? Which I'll get to that towards the end of the show. So it's a number one thing. If they stay pat, let's just say it goes what we think it'll go. Bryce, Will Anderson. Let's say somebody jump up for a quarterback, right, at 3. Let's say 4, Will Levis go 4, right? So now at 5, you left with Jalen Carter, Tyree Wilson. Let's say you left with an Anthony Richardson / CJ Stroud, Wilson, Carter, and etc. And let's say Seattle goes Wilson, right? Okay. So for me personally, staying at 6, if Carter's off the board, which I said I'll get to that later, you had Stroud, you had the cornerbacks. Now, the one thing that kind of turned me on to drafting a cornerback now, and I'm gonna tell you, like, it's similar to drafting this position is similar to drafting a quarterback. This cornerback position, because I think with the cornerback team they assembled, I think you need somebody to groom to be the number one corner, to be your ace in the bullpen as far as the cornerback group. And it's a very rich cornerback draft. I mean, dude, it's about 5 of them that can go in the first round. Weatherspoon, Gonzalez, Porter a lot. I see Dante Banks going high. Hear a lot about Cam Smith at one point. Khalil Ringo was pretty good. I mean, then it just goes deep. Emmanuel Forbes had 6 picks last year. He's very light in the ass at 166. DJ Turner was pretty good in Michigan. Ran a 4.26, I believe it was. Yeah. So, I mean, the Tyreek Stevens kid, really good. So it's a number of great corners. It's depth there. You can say, well, later, if I'm just getting a corner to step in down the line to be the guy, I don't really have to take on early. But if you feel that Devin Weatherspoon or Christian Gonzalez or etc. is going to be that guy, and they're the highest rated guy on your board, you take the need. I mean, you take the most talented guy. And I think that's the best position they're in right now. If you don't move up for a guy, or you're not in love with Carter because of what's going on and is with some of the issues that he has. So, I mean, obviously, if you can get a jump and groom a corner and not force him into action, and eventually he can step in there and be that guy with confidence, or he come out there, he beat some guys out, and now he's the number one corner. Cam Sutton's your number 2 corner. Jerry Jacobs can slide to this nickel or spell them guys when they need a breather. Fine. Now, if you say, well, we want to take CJ Stroud, I have no issue with that neither. This is a true luxury pick. If you want to move down a bit and say, I want to take Jackson Smith or Jigba, I ain't mad at you. Like I said, I love Miles Murphy as well, too. Some of these other guys I like. So if you want to say, you know what, we want to move down and take Jackson Smith or Jigba, okay, that's kind of Brad Holmes' cup of tea, an injured receiver. But I like the corner there. If you don't take the chance on Jalen Carter or don't move up, and I'm not mad about the quarterback there. Neither. That's a luxury pick, and you feel like you can groom those guys, and eventually they can step into play. So I'm not mad at anything. If they want to go offensive lineman, hey, that's their prerogative. But I think you want to get the best possible player that's going to be the best possible player in 2 or 3 years, 4 years maybe. That's what you want. So, what would I do there if I stayed at 6 and I didn't do nothing? How I'm feeling today? If I couldn't move down, I'll probably stay. If Carter's off the board and you say, we not messing with him, I would still take a chance on Carter. But if we not messing with him, I probably would go CJ. If CJ Stroud there, I'll take CJ Stroud. I'm not a fan of it's either Stroud, Gonzalez, or Weatherspoon. One of them 3. It's one of them 3. I'll be happy with either 3. I think I take CJ Stroud. If you had to put a gun in my head, I'll take CJ Stroud. Yeah, the news broke. Bleacher Report. Yep. And Carolina said they figured they know who they taking number 1, and apparently it came on Reddit that Will Levis said he told his family and friends that he'd be number 1. Now the thing you said, well, that's just shock. Will Levis went from a plus 4,000 on some sports books before this news broke to a plus 400 now after this news broke. So Vegas might know something. Houston loved Bryce, but he's there. I heard they really love Will Anderson too. So that's what I hear. I know somebody who knows somebody on the team. I heard they like both of them, so I'm not sure. Imagine if Paris Johnson actually does get selected by the Cardinals 3. That would be amazing. I mean, yeah, you got to protect your assets in Kyler Murray. Also, real quick, I'm gonna do a video about this tomorrow. 97 won the ticket said it was a rumor, and make sure I thumbs up the video that the Bills are trying to move Ed Oliver. They want a second and the fifth for Ed Oliver. The problem is he in a contract year, and the problem is the Lions are one of a couple teams or a few teams who actually can absorb his contract. Now they want to create this cap space. According to this rumor, it's just a rumor. They want to create this cap space so they can go get DeAndre Hopkins, right? So he also posted a month ago on social media, show me the money or I don't want to talk. So I don't know how true this is. I don't know if I'm giving up a second and a third. I don't know if I'm doing that. I don't know if I'm giving up a second or a third. And that's just what it is. If that's the case, I say, look here, what I could do is a 3 and a 5. And if you don't take that, I'm going to go trade for DeAndre Hopkins because I got the cap space. So the Lions will have leverage. Now, I like Ed Oliver, and that'd be a good pick. A good player, but eventually you have to pay him. After next season, I think when he get traded here, he's gonna want to get paid. So, I mean, that's up to the Lions. If you want to pay to play, pay him up front, plug him in the middle of that defense, and you can do that. So, if I can do a 3 and a 5, I'm down. A second is too rich for my blood for Ed Oliver, and I got to pay the Joker, so I'm good. They did meet with CJ Stroud. It's possible. So I don't read into teams meeting with guys. I done seen the Lions do it and plenty of other teams that don't even meet with guys and still draft them. I don't put much stock into meeting with anybody, even quarterbacks. I think they have so much intel on these guys, bro, that I don't even think a meeting matters unless you have a questionable, history. We have to draft defense tackle the driver. You have to trade for someone. I hope they're not relying on Levi this season. It should be considered a bonus. Don't count on. Well, they got Josh Pascal going to get in there too and mix it up. So they count on Pascal, Levi, probably if they don't draft one early or at some point. And they also probably relying on the June 1st cuts. So post June 1st cuts, they might be relying on that. But in my opinion, they have to address it. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the first round. You know what I'm saying? But they do. I think they need a guy in the middle of that defense. That's my thing. They need a guy that can impact these numbers and pressure numbers. The sack number, this is what they need, or somebody that got a lot of tackles for loss. So that's the question about it. You don't need any more. You got enough run pluggers. If I was a betting man, the problem about Kalaji Kancey is that he get pushed around a little bit on the inside, and you're gonna compromise some run strength up there until you get a little bit stronger, right? And with Allen's only in the middle of that defense, I don't think that's a good combination. Banking on, but he can obviously you can revolve him in. He gonna get better. But if I was a betting man, Brian Bryce is a guy I think is a Dan Campbell guy. I think Brian Bryce in the second round or moving up. I think he's a Dan Campbell guy. Now I don't know what happened to they got the Northwestern kid as an edge, or he ain't. See, they got this Northwestern kid as an edge, so I don't know what the fuck he is. Excuse my language. So I don't know what this Northwestern kid is. Some people got him as a defensive tackle. Some people got him as an edge. So I don't know what he is. He a little light in the ass too. 282, but he's strong. So I don't know if he an edge or a defensive tackle. I mean, somebody inform me. But oh my bad. Yeah, they got him as an edge. Or no, maybe they don't. Hold on. Yeah, they got him as an edge. So yeah, I don't know. So I mean, we gotta wait and see. So he said we have to. Okay, I read that one. So to me, it's gonna be very interesting. I think people forget the number 6 pick is a luxury pick. I think the Lions gonna be in a great position to do as they want to do with that pick. I think they're in a great position to roll with how they want to roll with that number 6 pick. I just think it's somebody that just got to be, this is a bonus pick, but somebody that got to be, it's going to be a star. You started to look at Aiden Hutchinson looking like to be a stud. Kirby Joseph looking to be a stud. All right. Panisa Wills a stud. He eventually going to be a blindside stud. Jameson Williams, we're going to have to wait. St. Brown a stud. But I still feel like they missing. Even outside the quarterback position. Let's not just leave that alone, right? They're missing that guy. You know how you look at you look at Cleveland and say, well, Myles Garrett or Deshaun Watson. You know what I'm saying? Or you look at New York Giants and say, well, Saquon. I think they're missing that guy. I don't think Jameson Williams would be that guy if he can stay healthy and stay out of trouble. And I think they're missing that guy. The guy when you be like the Lions, like and I mean it could be a corner. You look at the Jets, you say Sauce and Aaron Rodgers. I think Aiden Hutchinson is the guy. You like, okay, right now he's the guy. All right, I hold on real quick. I'll get my chicken out there. It's like every show I'm getting my chicken out there. Just so happens to be chicken there. But yeah, excuse my bad. But I just think they kind of like maybe offensively, maybe be missing that guy or just another guy defensively that can come in and kind of be that guy. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like this one more like elite stud guy outside the quarterback position, but I just want the best talent that's there. Obviously, we look at the needs, just interior line, defensive lineman. Obviously receiver now. I think they could have used one before J-Mo went down. I think running back, a developmental inside linebacker is another guy. In corner, I just think they need a guy that's gonna be the number one corner eventually. So you say corner, interior lineman, 2 receivers, and running back. I think those were their holes at. Obviously, quarterback, I still believe that's you can need an upgrade there. 49ers today not moving Trey Lance. I mean, okay. Sound good. But yeah, those are the weaknesses. And I think some of those weak points, I think you okay for the quarterback right now. I think you okay at corner right now. And I just think the biggest hole right now is the receiving core, the interior line, the interior defensive line tackle. And the thing about the defensive tackle is you need somebody who can create pressure. You don't necessarily got to go out there and get 10 sacks. That'd be great. But you need somebody that's going to be able to push the pocket on the inside and disrupt. That's the most disruptive pressure you can get is that interior pressure coming straight up the middle. You need that person who's going to disrupt up the middle. And like I said before, I love Brian Bryce as a second round pick, or maybe a late first. I like him, and like I said, I really like the Murphy kid a lot, bro. Just like I said at one point, like I said, I wouldn't mad if they had took him at 6 at one point. This Miles Murphy kid is really really talented. Long kid, athletic kid, kind of play the front side. I like him a lot. I think he's gonna be okay in this league. I think he's gonna be a stud in this league, man. I really do think Miles Murphy gonna be a stud. So, I think he gonna be a stud. I think he easily can go higher than that than what it said, dude. He's a real stud and great off that front side, man. Hear a lot about this Luka Van Ness kid too. I mean, good 40 time. They trying to make 4.58 is slow. I mean, this dude almost 275 pounds. Great, good motor. I mean, great penetrator. And one thing we know about Iowa is that they produce high motor, tough interior linemen on both sides of the ball. One thing we know about Clemson, it's a hotbed for talent. So, yeah, it's very interesting, man. Very, very interesting, man. And they can go a lot of different ways. Now, you could talk about like what would piss you off, like as a Lion fan, what would literally piss you off at number 6. And honestly, it seemed like it would be overkill at tackle. But really, nothing really would piss me off. If they feel like Levis is the best guy, they can refine Levis. Hey, I'm not mad at it. Tight end would just piss me off at this point. Tight end would piss me off anywhere in the first round because that's the bad omen. So tight end would piss me off. But if I was a betting man and Carter is off the table, I'm saying that it's gonna be either moving up for Will Anderson, CJ Stroud, Tyree Wilson, or a corner. That's my bet. He said, I think they're looking at a corner 18 to select there over 6. Either they're looking at a quarterback or defensive line. I think at 8. I think in the second round, you could really get some good corners there too in the second round. So I think at 18, that's what people think. I think at 18, man, if Bijan Robinson is still there, I'm taking him. Also, let's talk about 18 and trading back from 18. Stop. Let's talk about trading back from 18, right? So there's a rumor that Kansas City wants to get Zay Flowers, okay? And they want to move up. It's a rumor that Detroit wants to move back, okay? And they got an eye on Zay Flowers, Jahmyr Gibbs. So Kansas City, matter of fact, I'm doing all this hard work when I could just click on their logo. So they have this number 63 pick in the second round. So let's say Detroit was like, you know what? Kansas City, we'll give you 20, we'll give you 18. We take 31, 63, and we take a second or a first, whatever they negotiate next year. I mean, I guess that's doable. So I don't exactly know, but I know they want to move up and get Zay Flowers. He's been working out with Patrick Mahomes and all this stuff. Don't know if they got the same agent, but if I'm staying at 18 and Bijan Robinson is there, it's just, to me, it's a no-brainer. I'm taking them. The talent, even Barry Sanders on them. The talent is too great there. But if you say, okay, no, they're waiting for another type of back, they're gonna count on DeAndre Swift again, which is a big mistake. And say, 18, we're also, Deontay Banks from Maryland has been, associated with us. If Joey Porter is anywhere down there, Junior, shout out to his dad, played for the Steelers, I take him. Miles Murphy, I'm in love with him. I take him. I'm not doing a tight end. Jackson Smith or Jigba fall, I take him. And at that point, those are really the guys I actually like that might be around there. I don't know much about Jordan Addison. I know he didn't, run that well and all, but 4.49, 5'11, and a very productive guy even when he was at Pitt. Very productive. That's all I know. I know he's very productive. I've seen some a little bit of him. Zay Flowers is another really productive guy I wouldn't be mad at. I just don't like that Quentin Johnson dude because he don't catch with his hands. He don't play physical or big. But you kind of creep to this second round and, you look at some dudes here. So, but yeah, man, dropping from 18 to 31, it had to ensure me 31, a second round pick this year. And then I'm going to need some compensation next year, either a first or a second from them. So that's just what I hear. So I fully believe they're planning on taking a running back on Friday. I mean, I definitely can see that happening too, but I think it's going to be later than that. But Bijan Robinson is if you're talking about the best talent and, he the best player on board and that's what you represent, I just think you got to take him. And he didn't drop a ball all last season. He running deep routes. So I think they're gonna depend. Me personally, I think they're gonna depend on DeAndre Swift again. And that's dangerous because Jameson Williams, and I don't really think this is what I'm. This is just me being a Lions fan, and me. This is what I'm believing. I don't really think they're gonna put much work into that receiving core, and I could be wrong. It's all outside. I don't think they're gonna put much work in there. I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna draft somebody, right? They're gonna draft somebody, and it may be Saturday, Friday. I think they're gonna draft somebody, right? And then they're gonna go with Josh Reynolds, St. Brown, and I think they're gonna put their belief in DeAndre Swift again and David Montgomery, and I think it's gonna be a huge mistake. So your explosive plays is really what it's gonna boil down to is a rookie possibly, and St. Brown. That's what your explosive play is gonna do because Josh Reynolds. So I think they said we can hold it down for 6 weeks. I don't think they're gonna do anything major at he may. I really don't know, man. I mean, I'm not sure how you're gonna attack that position. So, but I just really think, man, losing DJ Shark, losing J-Mo for 6 months. You've seen how good Jared Goff can be when he has explosive weapons behind him. When DeAndre Swift is healthy early on this season, I just think they got to continue to surround him with explosive people. So I don't know, man. Bijan Robinson, what he can do down the field catching the ball. I've seen him go as high as 8 on some people mock drafts. What he can do going down the field, stretching the field, running the ball. To me personally, I think you got to have him. Like I said before, I think at that point, I think you with the number 6 pick, you can get ahead with some things. If you can find a quarterback or cornerback of the future, I think I'd do that. But would I be surprised in a scenario in which they walked away with Jackson Smith and Jigba and Bijan Robinson? No. Would I be surprised if it was a situation where they walked away with an offensive lineman and another offensive player down there? No, I would not. The man said he not having a depth chart, a need depth chart in the room. He's gonna go with best available. So we'll see. This is a mystery. And the one thing I like about it, don't nobody know what's going on. Obviously, Dolphins forfeited they pick for I think what was it tampering. So I mean, with Tom Brady, I think so. I mean, it's a mystery here. It's a mystery here, man, and it'll be interesting. But yeah, talk about Jalen Carter real quick, man. We heard the comments that Brad Holmes made and said he's very comfortable. He feel better after talking with Jalen Carter. Obviously, everybody read into that is that we ain't drafting him. I think he headed for an epic slide. You gotta remember Warren Sapp slid because of a drug rumor, right? Randy Moss slid because of some things he did. He got railroaded just like Allen Iverson down there in Virginia. So I think once you start kind of he came out of shape. I think the 2 final nails in the coffins for Jalen Carter and for how he gonna slide. Even though he's probably the best talent in this draft and the best thing for him is probably 2 slides so he can get back focused. I think the worst thing about it is he's a defensive lineman, bro. He's an interior lineman. He's a heavy guy. And he came in out of shape and he was a repeat offender in the speeding thing. So, but the talent is just too much to me for personally to pass up. But I understand you get a man that big, that heavy, and he get to messing up, and what I'm saying, you putting a lot of stock into him. But me personally, if it was up to me, and after watching this film, I literally I just couldn't pass it up. I would try to give him every tool to succeed. You need some bad character guys. It's guys on the team who did something worse than Jalen Carter. Trust me. They got covered up in college. They got covered up in high school. They got covered up at home. Who they got to pass. You just hope that he can rehabilitate. I mean, you just say, look here, man, we gonna provide you with a driver. You know what I'm saying? Or we gonna provide you with a support system. Look here, man, we gonna have you stay with Isaiah Bugs. This is gonna be your mentor. He gonna pick you up. Woo, 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 woo. And this is gonna be your rook. Give them that support structure. It's a need meet talent. And if it wasn't a need that meet talent, that meet what you a need that meets the most talented player on the board, I would just say, okay, I'll pass on them too. But looking at right now, I just really think that he probably need to slide to get his life corrected. He need to probably get spanked on the ass. He need to lose a couple million to get life back into perspective. When you're young, oh, it's just a mistake. It's just a bump in the road. It's just, it's just, what I'm saying? Like you think like, what I'm saying? Some people have a close call or near-death experience or near experience that can get them in a lot of trouble. And they like, all right, man, I'm good. I'm flying straight. I ain't making that mistake no more. And some guys just, especially when you got star athletes, they always get a spank on the hand and spank on the hand and spank on the hand and spank on the hand. And then when they get into a situation where they ain't a spank on the hand, now it's cuffs or it's life in jail or it's doing real jail time. So, I mean, the number one thing I would done if he meet with him, I want your ass on the scale. What you weighing right now? And if he ain't lost no weight or he ain't in no shape, in better shape than he was at his pro day, I probably wouldn't touch him. I wouldn't touch him. Now, if he kind of got in shape, he said, well, I was stressed. I was, kind of messed up over, somebody passing away. And, you really thought he was sincere and he came in better shape and his weight a little bit more in check for my visit, then cool. But if he around the same weight or he heavier than that, I'm not touching the motherfucker. Excuse my language. I ain't touching him. So I definitely understand if he slide and people say, oh, the Lions should have took him. I mean, shit, he might slide to 18. It might be that type of slide. He might slide to 18. But the thing that's in his favor is he is the best talent in the draft, bar none. Once again, I say he's the most talented player in the draft, bar none, right? And there's a lack of depth at that position in the draft. There's a lack of depth at where he's at. So, but yeah, it's unfortunate, man. But if he checked the boxes I said at the meeting, then it is what it is. Sorry for the dogs. He said apparently they really like offensive lineman from Florida, Octarius Torrent. Hey, it is what it is. Eric, man, what's going on, bro? So I mean, that's kind of why I'm looking at it. At these receivers, like I said, I know a little bit about Jordan Addison, seen a little bit about Zay Flowers. They in here playing. I should have closed my door. Bye. But I mean, they got a decision to make at the receiver. I mean, also you want to think explosive, but also you want to think long term. You want to think long term. All right, hold on. Get out. Bye. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, I have a powwow in here. So you want to think long term. You just want to think talent, honestly. I seen something on A.T. Perry too, man. He's somewhere down here. So yeah, I seen a little bit on. Hey, is this the kid that was tearing up Michigan? No, that's not him. The other kid was taller than this Reed kid. But I seen a little bit of scouting on A.T. Perry. Don't have great lateral quickness, but good straight line guy. This Jalen Hyatt kid, a lot of people like him, a little light in the ass. 176 pounds. They say he got problems getting off press. I heard somebody love Josh Downs. Smaller guy though. But that's fine. The smaller receivers, just less body to hit. Antonio Brown wasn't the fastest, but fastest 40. Cedric Tillman, a little bit taller Tennessee guy, 5'4". I mean, you expect that. So, had a very productive year in 2021. Not so much in 24, 26 games played. So, but yeah, Jordan Addison is a very talented guy. I think he's starting to slide because, he didn't run the 40. People thought he was going to run. I'm getting caught into that shit, man. But, I don't get caught in that. He said, what you think about Cedric Tillman from – I don't know much about him. Like, he didn't play that much. But he had a productive 2021 though, 12 touchdowns, 16.9 yards a catch. So I don't know much about him, but the Hyatt kid, I liked him a lot in that Alabama game. But you're gonna have to find a way to get him on free releases, bunch him, put him in motion. But Zay Flowers, I like him a lot. I like him a lot as well too. I don't have any problem with taking the first three guys. At some point, I don't have any problem. I think Jordan Addison, people reading too much into his athletic ability, he can just flat out play. And Jackson Smith-Njigba, I mean, when you got a route running, when Steve Smith said you got a PhD in route running, I think he'd be the equivalent of getting DeAndre Hopkins as far as what he brings. It's a great route runner, great hands, great ability to get his feet on. I mean, like I said, they took him 6. I wouldn't bitch about it. The injury history the little injury kind of worry you, but polished. That's what you get in somebody polished, somebody that could be your quarterback's best friend. Polished. Where he supposed to be at, if it's 5 and you turn and you go out, he gonna be there. He gonna get his feet in bounds. Great body control. Smooth as a baby's ass. You know what I'm saying? When you talking about precise, when it's 10 and come back, hey, it's 10 and come back. Everything is clean. Him and St. Brown. Now I say the same thing about DeAndre Hopkins and St. Brown. Third and manageable in chain moving situations. You got 2 short-handed guys who can run the entire route tree. It's like, yo. So I'm a big fan of Jackson Smith-Njigba. Technician. And kind of speak on CJ Stroud too, since we talking about Ohio State guy. Kid with prototypical size. Okay. A kid with prototypical size. A pass first kid, California quarterback, breed a bunch of those. Good arm. I mean, the worst thing about CJ Stroud is he from Ohio State. You know what they say about Ohio State quarterbacks, and Justin Fields trying to, clean that misnomer up. And you got to force him to run, and I think that's a good thing. If I got to encourage a kid to run, I'm fine with that. It'll be times when you say, well, we're gonna have a package. We're gonna have a package for you to run. We need you to run in critical moments. We have a package. We save them for critical moments and playoff moments. But I wouldn't be mad at it. I think this kid, he got an arm. He got the precision. The only thing I really question about him, other than the system he come from, even in those Michigan games, he didn't play bad. But it's like, when it's time to let your nuts hang, can you let your nuts hang? And I think he kind of proved that in the Georgia game, picking up his feet, running versus great. I would have no issue taking CJ Stroud. None. I would love to see him run more, but I can live with it. Negative 20 yards in 2021 is crazy to me. 108 yards is crazy to me. And I think if he was forced to play early, I think I would love to get him in a lot of runs, a lot of design runs. So I like him a lot, and that's a Michigan fan saying that. So I think I would. I love the size. I love the height, the weight, the body build, the arm strength, the accuracy. I said I wouldn't bat an eye. I wouldn't bat an eye for the kid. I would be I would be all for him, bro. So I think him learning behind Jared Goff would be perfect. So so Eric Minion says, "See, I like the edge from USC. You talking about Tula Lopa Lopa Laka Laka Lupa?" It's like, no disrespect. But I mean, yeah, he got some great. Now I don't know much from him. They ain't had much defense at USC last year. That's why they coached. Lincoln Riley then go to the SEC. But 22 tackles for loss, and that kind of play hand in hand into them kind of scoring a lot of points and putting other offenses putting pressure on other offenses on their heels to put up points, and he probably got to pin his ears back a lot and go get the quarterback 13 and a half sacks. I mean, I'm probably guessing he from like Hawaii or Hawaiian descent or something like that. And they always make great football players, man, especially defensive players. So yeah, he's from Cali, probably Hawaiian descent. They got him at 291. If this is the guy you're talking about, he's 266 pounds. They got that wrong. Shout out to Wikipedia for messing up. So 266 pounds. I don't think he ran a 40, so I can't tell you that. But not the longest kid, they say. But hey, you can play. You can play. You can play. You can play. UFC coming back. They come to the Big Ten too. Swift trade rumors been heating up today. You think so? I usually kind of got my ear to the streets. I was working today, working. Oh, that's cool. I mean, I ain't heard nothing. Usually Alex or Michael send me something, but yeah, you're right. They said teams are calling about DeAndre Swift. Yep, gonna put that in my notes for tomorrow. So yep, right with my Ed Oliver thing. So you are right. Yeah. Use some leverage. I see someone say Detroit Lions could trade 6 to Philadelphia Eagles. I'll read that real quick. Hold on. Shout out to Jalen Hurts getting the bag. So I don't know, it's just a rumor. It says latest rumors, WalterFootball.com, Charlie Campbell, who states the Lions could have been taking calls for number 6 as well as running backs DeAndre Swift. He said in every draft, some veteran players are shopped around and teams make calls trying to acquire a veteran. One player to watch this year's Lions running back DeAndre Swift, Campbell said. He says the teams have been calling Detroit to see if Swift is available after the franchise signed David Montgomery in free agency. The problem with that is, like, they looking for thunder and lightning. So Swift has played really well for Detroit when on the field, but has had a hard time staying healthy. Swift is in the last year of his contract, so teams probably won't be willing to give up anything more than a mid-round pick. Swift would be more interesting player to monitor because some teams are interested in making a deal for the fourth-year pro. I thought I saw something about the Eagles. Eagles caught the Lions about the 7. Yeah, I just seen. Okay, trying to see where that note said. It says Campbell wrote Monday the Philadelphia Eagles have been calling teams in the back half of the top 10 of the draft in hopes of trading up to get Jalen Carter. So they got Jordan Davis already. So he says the Eagles are calling about trading from 10 to 6 to 8 range for Jalen Carter, So my thing is this. He might just be there at 10. Shit. He might be there at 10. They saying CJ is going to drop because he had a low score test, but I think it's fine. It's just what teams he goes to is a lot of teams kill young quarter. He in Detroit would be a great fit for him. Sit a year, even if he play right away, it's a lot of assets for him there. So, like, Trey Swift already sue you, say not like he's going to be here in the past next year, draft some real speed home run back. Like I said, I like Bijan Robinson a lot, like the talent. So, I mean, obviously we gotta wait and see. Should they trade that motherfucker might run for 2,000 yards the next year. So obviously we all know it's gonna be talent outside the first round or some of these great guys, and I think Brad Holmes is really good at identifying talent in the mid round. So we'll see. But I think it's a great thing that we really don't know what the Lions going to do. I think it's great that we just really don't. You got any questions, I'll answer them. I think it's great that they keeping them mum on what they really want to do. You know, I think it's great. I think, but Man B. Smart said Will Anderson and Hutchinson with Houston would be unfair. Yeah, it would be shit for us, for everybody else, but I take it. I think at that point, man, I think obviously Romeo or Charles Harris gone or Julian or Corey gone at that point. So I think somebody gonna be the odd man out, but it all depends on what's gonna take to get up there and what Houston gonna do. If Will Harris go number one, Will Levis, go number one, I think it's a point where then yeah, they're gonna have opportunity at 3 to get him. I think Houston at that point would just go with Bryce Young. So I mean, we gotta just wait and see. You gotta wait and see. But he said Kendrick Miller, running back from Texas, from TCU, would be a nice fit for us. Yeah, TCU got some dogs. That new coach down there doing this thing, ain't he? For sure. Too bad they couldn't put up a better fight. He said, "What up? What's going on, bro? Where Origin G? Alex, what's going on, bro?" So, I mean, yeah, man, I'm not mad at CJ Stroud coming here at all. I'll take it. What's your sleeper in this? Man, I really ain't paying attention, dog. I only watch Michigan games, but I ain't really did no draft homework. I've been kind of busy, but so I really wouldn't be the right guy to tell you a real sleeper. But I will tell you is I do like Jalen Hyatt. I do like Jahmyr Gibbs. Just some guys. And then one of my favorite players in this draft is okay. I can give you this one because outside of Bijan and guys like that, one of my favorite defensive player in this draft is Miles Murphy. Yeah, I love Miles Murphy. I would say he's at least my sleeper in the first round. Miles Murphy, I think he's gonna be a really, 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 really good football player in the National Football League. I think he's gonna be outstanding. Do you think we're going? No, we ain't getting Bijan Robinson. Nah, we ain't. They don't. The Lions don't never think like we think. So Troy Weaver think like we think and got Jay Ivey and Jalen Dern. But the Lions, they gonna do something that nobody really thinking about. I think at both of those picks. I think they gonna in the first in one of them first 4 picks. There might be 1 or 2 guys in there that you never heard of and never thought that was gonna be associated with them. Mark my words. Mark my words. Mark my words. It's gonna be a guy that you didn't even think that they was associated with. So that's what I think. That's what I think. Any other questions? But yeah, if not, man, check out the podcast. I have it up by the morning on Spotify and Anchor. Both links in the description. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo. You get the link tree. Find me everywhere there. We got a couple more questions. So yeah, I like. The Illinois running back. I like him too. Yeah, I like the Illinois running back. He ran all over Michigan ass, didn't he? Yeah, I like him a lot, and I like y'all know I like my boy Zach Charbonnet. You gotta say he a fucking sleeper too. But that Chase Brown kid, he the real deal. If we don't lead the first round, Will or Jalen, we failed. Yeah, I guess. Only time will tell. He said you be speaking real fast. People say you negative, but they don't want to hear the truth. Hey, like I tell people all the time, it's space on YouTube for everybody. It's space on YouTube for everybody. It's space for people that's gonna lie and kiss ass for views, and that's people like to be lied to. It's space for people to tell the truth. It's space for people to be informative. It's space for people to be comedy and entertaining. It's a place for people to be serious. It's and some people can indulge in all of them. And and tell me where I was wrong at. Tell me where the fuck I was wrong at. Come on, tell me where I was wrong at by not kissing ass and telling you lies. Now, if the Pistons and Lions want to pay me to tell lies, well, my line is open. My line is open. I'm just gonna tell you what I really think. And I still wasn't wrong last year at all. See, I'm a UCLA fan. I'm high on Zarb. Man, yeah, he played at Michigan first. Fucking losers. I was mad as fuck when he left, bro. I could choke the shit out of Hardball. I could choke the shit out that man. That was my boy. How you feel about Zay Fly? I think he feel. Yeah. I mean, I ain't get concerned about dude's speed and all. That motherfucker can play. That's all I'm concerned about. He can play. If Andy Reid want him, then hey. And I didn't know Andy Reid didn't have the best track record with receivers, but we gotta wait to see what Scott Moore do. So I agree with Eric. I disagree with you a lot, but I still subscribe support because you're honest. You go, man. If you don't, I mean, look here. If you don't want to hear the truth, cool. I ain't mad at you. The truth will eventually find you. It's hard. The truth hard, bro. It's hard telling somebody the truth. It's hard being honest. A lot of people can't be honest with themselves. So how can you take the honesty of the truth from somewhere else? I'm thinking about going to the Michigan Panther game too, man. I'm thinking about going to that joint. But yeah, man, some people can't handle the truth. Some people want to be lied to. Us as men, though, bro. I mean, the truth hit us when we go through rites of passage, when we no longer looked at as little boys and teenagers. At that point, we looked at as grown men that could do shit on their own. So I feel like every boy, every man that's of age should feel what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Just in general. Because we can't run from the truth. We can't hide from the truth. If you ugly, nigga. You know what I'm saying? If you short, you short. You know what I'm saying? And whatever situation may be, we got to deal with reality. It ain't makeup. It ain't lies. It ain't, women telling us we Lizzo, we curvy and beautiful. We know, motherfucker, you fat, titty, big Rick Ross dude need to get in the gym. Society gives it to men raw. You know what I'm saying? They give us the honest truth. As long as you ain't got a whole bunch of money. But, you know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. We deal with the truth on a daily basis. People don't sugarcoat the truth for men. Your significant other won't. Your kids won't. A drunk won't. The women like to be lied to and massaged to, and they like a nice, feathery, comfortable fall. Because that's what society gives them. Anytime you start talking the truth or you start, telling the truth or going hard on a woman, they kind of label you like Kevin Samuels, a womanizer and feminist. And you know what I'm saying? It's never, for them, it's, you know how it is. We all should be able to take the truth, man. We know what the Lions are and what they have been. And when I see them turn the corner, or I feel like I see them making the moves to turn the corner, and I feel like, all right, man, this the year, or I think they're really going to win a division, or I really think they headed up, I will let you guys know. I will let you know. Same thing with the Pistons. I like what they did, but the disclaimer was last year, guess what? Dwayne Casey, and and I said the same thing about Troy Weaver. The first year draft was a complete bust so far. It is. This is not going to coming back from it, but I give him time because he didn't get to pick his own head coach. Now they down to 3 finalists. We'll see. I was feeling Jaron Collins a little bit, reading an article about his background and some of the things where he been at. So, obviously they missed out on some home products. Willie Green going to New Orleans, Chauncey going to Portland. But I was really feeling, Jaron Collins, Jerry playing under Jerry Salone, coaching under Willie Green, D'Antoni on there playing with coaching under Steve Kerr, championship level teams in Golden State, winning 3 over there. So I was like, he was a scout, player development, kind of worked his way through the ranks. I remember Aaron Glenn saying Bill Parcells wanted him to get into scouting before he got into coaching, and then kind of get into coaching. So it sounded like Jaron Collins kind of took that same route. Good guy, Stanford guy, smart guy, wasn't a superstar in the league, but was a really good guy. So I think he'd be good. I think he'd be good for the Pistons. Honestly, everything you're hearing about him, I think he'd probably the ideal fit. Who was the best corners draft? Some people say Gonzalez. Some people say Weatherspoon is probably Gonzalez is probably the better man corner. Weatherspoon may be the overall better corner, better in zone, more aggressive, and better in run support. But depend. I think Gonzalez just in the vacuum, just more talented physically, and you're right about them taking someone who hasn't been linked to them. Who you think it is? Man, I don't know, bro, but I know he running this shit like the Secret Service. If I was a bet man at 6, I wouldn't be surprised if he took an offensive lineman. I wouldn't be surprised. It's either offensive lineman, Anthony Richardson. He take a tight end, man. Y'all might as well. And I like that kid from Notre Dame. Don't get it twisted. He take a tight end in the first round. Just don't go to my channel if you don't want to hear me go off. But yeah, Frank, what the fuck was my highlight of the draft? But Frank Ragnar's been good when he's been healthy. Robinson can be Todd Gurley in the Lions offense. Robinson run a lot of deep routes. That's one thing I'm kind of learning about him. He runs a lot of lateral, like long routes. Not lateral, but he runs some of those too. He runs a lot of deep routes. That's what I like. And he didn't have a drop ball last year. So everything Shield King crew tries to floss at you when in reality he comes out on top. I don't be paying nobody no attention, bro. I don't be watching I don't watch nobody. I watch Micro Mike, Piston Mike, Man Beast More. That's about really it, bro. I really don't be paying attention, dude. So yeah, I don't be paying attention to guys, bro. When you got productive things, you got things you got to do, man. People will say what they want to say. I don't know why people are so bothered about other people's opinion, bro. Guess what? Anything, man, Mano said it best, bro. The rapper Mano said, you know what? As a man, you control everything in your life. Barry White said we all gods. We create life. We can take life. Like Mano said, you can change anything in your life. Like it or not, if you want to change your kids and get your kids out your life, I wouldn't recommend it. You can't remove them and say, I don't want ownership no more. You want to change a woman out your life, you can remove it. You don't like that TV in your living room, you can remove it. You don't like where you living at, you can remove it. You don't like the car you driving, get a new one. Everything is in your control in your life. So if I don't like somebody saying something, why I want to hear somebody just say negative things about people all day, troll people all day. Come on, I don't care. I'm not gonna feed into it. Everybody got their opinion, bro. Everybody in this Detroit sports thing should be supporting each other because it's space for everybody. It's space for people to be super fans. It's space for people to be optimistic. It's space for people to be honest. It's space for people to be negative. It's space for people to be informative. It's space for Viking fans, Bear fans, Boxer fans, basketball fans, CNN fans, Don Lemon. It's space for everybody. Space for the people to be real. Space for people to be fake. He's how do you feel about taking Brian Bryce? He went through a lot of college, but in college. But yeah, I mean, if you check out medically, I like him in the second round. I think he's a Dan Campbell guy for sure, and an Iowa kid. Both of them, the linebacker and the one that's in the first round, Luke Vaness, whatever. Lions far from dumpster juice. Now, I mean, obviously, yeah. But you could never know in the NFL. You never know. But they definitely are headed. The roster, he's done a great job turning over the roster in a short amount of time. He's turned it over with mid to late round picks and key free agent pickups. I know exactly what he was doing last year when he didn't draft when he didn't do a lot of free agent pickups the first couple of years. It made too much sense because you've seen a lot of times, Albert Haynesworth and Washington spent a lot of money on free agent picks. I always use Jerry's Bird going from Buffalo to New Orleans and didn't do nothing. Namdi going from Oakland to Philadelphia not doing nothing. A lot of times that shit don't work out. Did Charles Woodson, did he get traded to Green Bay or whatever? That's my favorite college player. Favorite college player is Charles Woodson. And then my second favorite was Ricky Williams, right? I think Vince Young might be third. But I don't know if he was traded to Green Bay or whatever, but that was a great pickup. What's the other kid? Rushton Power to Reggie White, another great pickup for Green Bay. Julius Peppers was good for them. Just, you got to be very selective in free agency because these are used products. And, on top of being used products, they wore down products and they system products. So when you get a free agent, it's just, it's easier to take a guy you draft, and let's just say he's a zone corner, but I want to make him a man corner, right? It's easier to help that young player turn into a zone, a better man corner than taking a veteran corner that's known for playing predominantly zone throughout his career, putting him in the man system. Because he's been in the league 5, 6, 7 years, depending on the franchise tag or whatever, how long he was signed, first round, second round. And that's what he's been doing. So it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. So it's easier to mold the younger guy, give him the tools than the older guy. So you got to do just as much scouting on veteran players, physically, checking them out, and then what system they good in. Then you got to do a younger player, because younger player, I still can kind of mold them and critique them, and you know what I'm saying, still can do those things with those guys. He said, you got to see what they are. A real man will listen, even if it hurts. We learn from our downfalls and try better ourselves. Yeah, I mean, we always hit reality first. Even if you don't know it, you're going to look back and say, damn, you know what? That was a turning point. Our rites of passage is reality. When they don't look at you as a little boy, look at you as a grown man now. That's why, most parents are more lenient on boys than girls. Everybody going to feel sorry for a girl. That's why, you with your girl and, you win in an argument or some shit like that, or, you in the right and they want to break down crying. That's a defense mechanism. That's a natural defense mechanism. You're supposed to feel sorry for them, and you know what I'm saying. But once you're done with the bullshit, you're done with it. Once your daughter then, then did the same mistake 1,000 times over and over again, it's like, nah. We all should want each other to eat. Exactly, man. But everybody ain't got that mentality. And it's YouTube. It's enough food, enough money, enough, content, enough stuff, and where everybody don't have to work together. Everybody don't have to support each other. But shit, everybody should want to see everybody do good. You know what I'm saying? I want to see the Bear content creators do good, the Vikings content, the Cowboys content creators do good. I want to see everybody eat, bro. Even if I don't like people, man, I want to see you be able to feed your family or save your money for a vacation by doing it. I want to see everybody blow up. I ain't no hater. Somebody doing good, like, oh, damn, he made it. He got 1 million subs, or, man, dude, that just motivates you. If he can do it, damn, maybe I can do it. That's how I look at it. Your friend do something good, guess what? Damn, I gotta step it up. Ain't I'm gonna hate on this nigga. I want to rob this. Nah, I ain't in that mindset, bro. He said, I think of Holmes and Campbell are talking about is screaming Luke Vaness to me. Your thoughts? I can see that. I just said that. Him and the linebacker Campbell just seemed to be actually looked to be fine. I mean, a Bryce. I ain't saying it because he's white neither, dog. Let me get that right. Bryce. I think Michael Mayer is a Campbell type of guy. I love Michael Mayer. I just can't do another tight end in the first round. It's just a bad omen. I think Devin Weatherspoon is a tough, gritty type of guy. Tough corner, great in run support. I think he's one of those type of guys. Who else in there? The Jay Campbell kid right there. So you got to go on us. I think Zach Charbonnet is one of those type of guys too. Real tough guy. So yeah, I think it's a couple guys that fit the mold. Just real tough, grinded out guys. Miles Murphy, I love him too. Like, that's my favorite player in the draft. Real talk. Typical SOF they draft Iowa. Well, Iowa, man, they produce great interior linemen on both sides of the line, man. So, one thing you're gonna get from those guys, they're gonna be technically ready, they're gonna be physically ready, and their motor's gonna be ready. It might not be the most athletic guys, but they're gonna give you everything they got. Weatherspoon allowed 1 catch in press last year. He has only been playing football for 5 years. His potential is scary. Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. Tough guy. I mean, and it's a luxury pick. You just hoping he marinates with you can marinate him if you want. What's your thoughts on that? I just know he athletic. So that's all I know about Nolan Smith. He athletic. That's it. He ran a great 40 time, and you know what I'm saying. Edge guy 4.39. Speed to get you fucked up though. Not very productive. But the question is, can you turn an athlete? Can you turn an athlete into a football player? Can you give him the skills? I mean, where you playing, man? You put him at the edge. You try to teach him coverage or whatever. It's all up to him. But yeah, hell of an athlete. I still didn't think Trayvon Walker had a bad year last year for Jacksonville neither, bro. Like Kayvon Thibodeaux came on hot last year, so it may literally not be a wrong pick, amongst the pass rushers last year. I mean, let's take a look at the last year's draft. Walker was damn good. His stats not going, so we know he wasn't the best pass rusher out there. He's got to be polished, but man, they were damn good last year. He still had 3.5 sacks. I mean, Kayvon Thibodeaux had a big Monday night game. Who was that versus? I forget who it was. He took over that shit. I mean, Derek Stingley didn't get a lot of talk last year, but he played really well last year. Really well. Sauce is just in a better situation in the bigger market. I mean, all these top 5, man, like they all played really, really good last year, bro. That's as good as you can hope for in the top 5, bro. That's as good as you can hope for. This top 5 was, I mean, shit. It was great. It was great. So, might be the best 5 players in the draft. I mean, we gotta see McDuffie won a title with Kansas City last year. Kyle Felitis won the title with Kansas City last year. Some of these linebacker quarterbacks take some time. Traylon Burks was in a messed up situation. Jahan Dotson had a great year in Washington with a messed up quarterback. Jordan Davis kind of got injured. JMO, we got to see. Chris Olave almost won Player of the Year, Offensive Player, Rookie of the Year. Garrett Wilson did win Offensive Rookie Player of the Year. So yeah, man, shit, it was a solid first 5 picks. He said Vanessa's a more talented version. I forgot Kaminsky was still on the team. Jesus Christ. But let me get out of here, man, so I can eat dinner, man, at a reasonable time, which is too late already. I do appreciate y'all for tapping in. I want to get one more in before the draft. I probably won't be live for the draft, but I probably would have my reaction videos, stuff of that nature. So you can listen to this on Spotify, Anchor in the morning. I'll make it available tonight. How about that? So about an hour or two, it'll be on there. Rate me on there. Follow me on there. The more spins I get on there, it's free. Quicker I can open up the Apple and all that stuff. So I do appreciate y'all. Check out the Lions 101 playlist if you want to continue to listen on YouTube. All my links are inside the link tree. You want to donate, Cash App, $CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link description. Just hit the link tree. So have you seen the tape on Drew Sanders, linebacker from Arkansas, straight baller with the dog in him? I'm gonna check him out. Arkansas seemed to kind of make a little comeback too, man. So I'm gonna go check him out. Drew Sanders. Very, very common name, but appreciate y'all. Peace.